Now we're going to take a quick glance at our next game. It's the next in the Mario series.
What's up, everybody? It's Gambito Gaming. Today we're doing a Iceberg video. A lot of people know what these are already, but just for the uninformed, these are videos where you get a very specific topic and you really get down to the nitty-gritty with it and just go all in with it. It's only for the most fans of things. Today we're going to be taking a look at a niche little launch title for the Nintendo GameCube called Luigi's Mansion. And Iceberg is broken up into different tiers. The top tier is most well-known stuff about that topic, and then as you go down the iceberg, it gets more and more niche, and usually that means it gets more and more disturbing or creepy, or as humans we fear the unknown. So naturally, as you go down the iceberg, it gets a little spooky. I think that's all bullshit, and I think a lot of these icebergs are made to seem like that. I think a lot of these at the bottom rungs of these things, especially the more niche topics, are kind of just made up opinions that anybody could just blurt out. Any nut with a computer could just type out on Reddit, and boom, it's officially in the tier list for Luigi's Mansion. This guy's theory that Luigi's little small dick just can't grow more than 2 inches in the game, and then it's officially on here, and then I have to talk about it. So I think a lot of them are polluted with that, and I don't think this list is excluded in that, because we have some heady shit coming on, bro. We're gonna start pretty light here, and I'm just gonna jump in. The number one thing I hate about these iceberg videos I just did. So if you skipped ahead, you can stop here. I'm gonna get into it. Never mind, I'm not. I got a little bit more of a preface. I got this list off Reddit. I didn't make it. I did my own research, partially. I grabbed it from the Reddit user Agrobot, and he posted it on the Iceberg subreddit, I believe, if that's even a thing. He actually shared a few explanations of his own for some of the weirder things on there. Honestly, I wish he could have provided a little bit more, because it does get heady down near the bottom, but I will be reading his interpretations for those, as well as adding my own information. And there's not many that he outlined, about 6, so I'll be saving those for last. Right now we're just going to run down the general iceberg you see. We're going to jump into the first section. Alright, so the first one I see that is pretty interesting is Mario is playable. I think this just comes with any of the old Mario games, especially from the Mario 64 era, where the rumor that Luigi was playable in that game and the whole L is real phenomenon. This was just naturally going to happen with this game, I believe. And it's a rumor. I don't think Mario's playable. Maybe somebody hacked the ISO ROM, and now Mario is playable, and it's Mario's Mansion. Just hose and fucking blow on the table and shit. Moving on, Space World 2000 beta. This is where I'm going to be borrowing a lot of footage from, because it's the earliest known beta, I believe, of Luigi's Mansion, and it has a lot of differences from the final game that we got. So a lot of speculations and rumors came from this beta, because it is drastically different from the final product we got, like most betas are. It was in its infancy at that point, and they had showed a pretty lengthy trailer, so we have a lot of information of how this game looked pretty early on, and I, for one, am going to be grabbing clips from that. We got some boarded up doors in the mansion, and these doors, I don't think they're ever explained. I think they're just there more for decoration, but as a kid, you know, you like to speculate what's beyond the door. What's beyond the door Luigi can't even get into, because this motherfucker's been unlocking doors left and right. You know, when is he going to pull out the hammer and get the boards off the doors? But it never happens, so your mind automatically goes to, what's beyond that door that's so fucked up? I guess that blank darkness there is whatever you fill in, is what's beyond that door. We got Toe-Sucking Song, Totaki's song. This is a song that's appeared in many of Mario and Nintendo IP. The song is found somewhere in the game. Honestly, I don't really like this as a overall Easter egg. I think the story behind it's wholesome and everything. It's because I can't recognize it. I always have to read about it later, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a thing that's in the game. Same case with this. And the last one on this that I'm going to talk about is the Hanging Shadow, and this is one of my favorite things to spawn from Luigi's Mansion, the final product. With so much being different from the beta, you'd think they would have caught this one, but they didn't. In one of the rooms upstairs, during a specific lightning strike, Luigi's shadow gets cast a little bit too high on the wall, and it looks like Luigi is hanging from a self-inflicted hang wound. This obviously is very terrifying. It's reminiscent of the Wizard of Oz hanging of the dwarf in the back scene. Alright, we're going to get into the deeper, darker section. Nintendo 64 build. So I couldn't find anything official that said this game was originally being worked on the N64. It very well could have been, but there's no evidence of that whatsoever. A few screenshots and early models look like they could have been from a late N64 era game, but again, there's no official confirmation that this game was ever worked on for a Nintendo 64. Further proof of that was the 3D mode, stereoscopic 3D. And this is a wish that Miyamoto had for the game ever since its birth, and he finally got to see that out on the Nintendo 3DS, only at the cost of not having an HD remake of Luigi's Mansion on the Switch. So, you know, some dreams are just worth letting go, Miyamoto. We could have had an HD original Luigi's Mansion, man. Egad, Badman. Trapping ghosts in paintings for eternity is unethical. That's what I wrote. Trapping ghosts in paintings for eternity is unethical. Some people think Egad is the overall bad guy here because he's separating the souls and the ghosts and trapping them in the eternal damnation of a picture frame, only to be held and gawked at by the Mario, the Mushroom Kingdom. Inaccessible blackout ghosts. So during the climax, the apex of the game, arguably, there's a blackout and Luigi has to go to the basement and turn the power back on. This means all of the progress you've gotten thus far, turning all the lights on, is undone, and every room has ghosts in it. Except the sitting room and guest room, which have blackout ghosts that are inaccessible during the blackout, effectively making them unused. The sitting room has 4 Temper Terror ghosts, while the guest room has 2 Temper Terror ghosts. This could imply these rooms were accessible during the blackout in early versions of the game, and this was per the Cutting Room Floor website. So there's a few ghosts in some rooms during the blackout, which you can't actually get into those rooms. So they're just weirdly placed entities in a room that you can't get into now, probably just overlooked by the developers. Matryoshki doll. In an early version of the game, this creepy looking doll Luigi was used for Luigi's head icon that appears in the maps for the game on the Game Boy Horror. So he had a little doll, which is like one of those Russian dolls, I believe. And weirdly, it's a little creepy because he just has very soulless eyes, and then it's weirder because it didn't make it in the final cut, but it's still in the game files, which I'm sure was very pleasant to run across for those hackers who did originally stumble upon that very creepy image. Hey Luigi, what's the holdup? Some people claim to hear that very phrase from the sewers when you first walk in, before or after the cutscene plays, when you first see King Boo in the throne room with Mario after you climb down that well. Some people hear Mario say, "Hey Luigi, what's the holdup?" Just like that. Photographs of when ghosts were alive. So there's apparently a few photos throughout the mansion of the ghosts before they were alive, which is a little eerie. You really makes you wonder what actually happened to them in their previous lives that ended them in death, and why there are so many in this one mansion. But yeah, that one's pretty simple. Explorable lab. I couldn't find anything official on this or even any beta stuff on this, but apparently some people think at one point the lab was able to be walked around in or something. I have no idea about this. I know there's a few rooms in the early stages of Luigi's Mansion, like the one where you learn how to actually catch the ghost. That's a separate room from the mansion, and maybe they're referencing that. Earth has 2 moons, ladies and gentlemen. I couldn't actually find anything official or even a statement about this from the creator or anybody else online. But this is definitely referencing the moon. You actually just implode on itself in the game by shooting stars at it. And I guess this is saying that that was the second moon, or maybe even the first, but we definitely have 2 moons, because otherwise, if we didn't have the moon, the Earth would just cease to exist, or some fuck shit would happen. And at Luigi's hands, nonetheless. So, Chef Ghost. Have you seen Chef Ghost? So this comes from the Space World 2000 beta as well. It's a beta image of a supposed chef ghost. A lot of people think this is a portrait ghost, but it looks more like a just everyday, run-of-the-mill, shine your light and catch him real quick ghost. Luigi is the Archangel Azrael. Oh, buddy. So Azrael is the angel of death who separates souls from their bodies. And we can make any number of conclusions as to how Luigi ties into that. I like to believe that it's referencing Luigi's ability to take pictures of ghosts' hearts and know what they're thinking. Or it could just simply mean he separates spirits from their souls by putting them to paintings, which references Egad being a villain earlier. Who knows? I just like saying Luigi is the Archangel Azrael. Why Luigi can't jump? White Luigis can't jump. This one comes down simply to his vacuum is too heavy. Original M rating. This comes from me, actually. No, I couldn't find anything from this. I guess they could reference the terrifying original game over screen or an image that was floating around the internet for a while from, I think it was the Japanese commercial, or maybe even a copy of the game. That showed a very depressed Luigi, and maybe that's what's referencing that, because that was actually pretty terrifying. Other than that, God rest your soul, you know. Names of people in the graveyard. I couldn't find anything on this, but apparently you can read names on the gravestones in the graveyard. I haven't actually put this to the test, but I don't think you actually can, or if there's any significance to it. I'm fully not expecting to go in there and see Henry IV, you know. I'm expecting to see and Nintendo's like broken font that they chose for being on the gravestone, and some neckbeard from Virginia thinks, you know, that says Miyamoto's third cousin or something. So Bogmire's true identity. Again, couldn't find anything on this. I mean, we're getting really deep, guys. Maybe a soul of one of the Mario Universe characters. That's what I'm putting out into the world today. The Safari Room boss. Rumors began floating around after an issue of Nintendo Power claimed that there was an Australian Outback-esque hunter in the Safari Room that would want to mount Luigi's head to a wall. So from that excerpt, people started to believe that there was a secret boss in the Safari Room. Toad's electro-emotional aura. Whenever you encounter a Toad in their distressed state, the area around them is always devoid of working lights. When you're able to calm them, the area once again lights up. Yeah, this is a weird phenomenon, but it's really just a game mechanic that people are looking way too into, which I'm always a fan of. Hey, let's go crazy, right? Toads are used in the game to save, and whenever you do, the surrounding room lights up, so Luigi is there and safer, and you feel a sense of safety after you've accomplished this thing. But people are now saying that Toads, when they are sad, lights go out, and when they are happy, lights light up. ELH.SZP, a scrap boss character that would have used the elements as its main attack. Alright, so the ELH.SCP is a boss that would have been in the game, and it looks a lot like Bogmire just in the way it's shaped, but it also just has this eerie presence to it. There's actually a video of somebody getting it to work in the main foyer and Luigi's Mansion, and doing some of his animations that are still in the game files. That thing is pretty cool. I didn't know about that, and it's a little bit eerie. to know that that could have been a boss in the game. We're gonna get into the real depths here, man. And this is just something else. So, King Boo is Bowser's ghost. So in the game, Madame Clairvoyant, who helps Luigi along his way by seeing through different versions of Mario's items, she is shocked to see Bowser in her visions and seems to suggest that he's supposed to be dead, and King Boo inhabits Bowser's body during the final boss battle. And when King Boo is defeated, Bowser's body goes completely limp. So people are thinking King Boo is actually the ghost of Bowser himself, which is evident in the fact that Madame Clairvoyant had a little bit of a stroke, and the fact that Bowser would, which is pretty confirmed that he is dead because he has soulless eyes. They're all white, which means they've rolled in the back of his head. Dante's Inferno, the overall story, Luigi's Mansion, how the game's structured, resembles that of Dante's Inferno. That one's not hard to see. This is where we get really just, come on guys, really? Like, we're kind of stretching here, right? E3 2001 disappearances. This is a supposed occurrence at E3 2001 where there's some disappearances that are linked to this game, because I think this game was shown off at E3 2001. This has since been dismissed as a hoax by Reddit user blank blank blank. I think this is all just bullshit. I was unable to find any actual proof of this ever happening, and I searched for a whole 60 seconds I looked. But yeah, this has no validity. There was no news reports of it. Nobody disappeared from a spooky ghost game being shown off at a convention hall. I'm sorry, it just doesn't happen like that. Alright guys, this is the worst one. Pataphysical manifestations. Now let me define pataphysics right quick. Pataphysics is the science of that which is superinduced upon metaphysics, whether within or beyond the latter's limitations, extending as far as beyond metaphysics as the latter extends beyond physics. So, what that means, literally when you Google pataphysics, Google's even like, hey man, this is just kind of hard to explain. The guy who invented this just didn't really make it a lot that clear, so we're not going to do the work of a madman. That's what Google gives you. So I basically, in reference, I'm not going to try to even spell out what that is in layman or in everyday life. In terms of Luigi's Mansion, I think this is just simply referencing the weird manifestations you see in the game, perhaps shadows, maybe even Bogmire, and even that boss, that scrap boss we saw, ELH.SZP. I think this is referencing that, but maybe even people are seeing manifestations of pataphysical objects in the game that weren't even there to begin with. Maybe they remember seeing pataphysical manifestations when they were a child and can't find them now in games. I don't know. I don't know if I went back to when I first played Luigi's Mansion, I busted in my bedroom door and I was like, hey kid, I'm you from fucking 10 years from now. Have you seen any pataphysical manifestations in Luigi's Mansion? I just fucking start crying, dude. Retroactive existence. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna cut that one out. I don't know. 3/19/01 build. So this is a March 19th, 2001 build, which apparently was destroyed because of casualties around it. This may be referencing that photo again of depressed Luigi, which ensues so much depression in somebody that they just off themselves, and it was in that build of the game, so they had to cut it, and all of these suicides that happened went unnoticed and unreported by the police, and the game still shipped only months later. Ghosts are players' loved ones. This is just a child's interpretation of the enemies in the game, I think. You can do that with any game, really. You can say that the things you're interacting with are your loved ones, taking physical manifestations up in the game. I'm going to say they're green, blue, red enemies that Miyamoto sees in his dreams and prints out into video entertainment form for us to enjoy. That's all I'm seeing. That was the Luigi's Mansion Iceberg chart. I think this shit's fun. I really like the Iceberg videos that are out there now, and I wanted to contribute with something I know a decent bit about, and I didn't mind researching the stuff I didn't know about. Again, there's stuff that I just think is made up. Maybe not even by the original author, but the stuff that is hard to find is very hard to find, and I think it's pretty easy to connect the dots anyway. With that said, I do want to do more Iceberg videos. I don't know, since there's such niche topics, like how many people are going to be watching 30 minutes of Luigi's Mansion. Probably a good bit of people who find this game nostalgic and play this game regularly. I try to play it every year since this is a short game, but I really love this game, and it's something I'm passionate about, so I can talk at length of why Luigi is the fucking demon god Azrael. Keep it tuned. Also, we passed 500 subscribers, which is I haven't done since probably like 2014, 2015 on another channel, so that's pretty fucking dope. Thank you guys for holding on with me while I try to figure out what the fuck I'm doing on this goddamn website. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.